When they say time flies, time flies. What is up, guys? YGB7. It is already half of 2017. That is insane. Okay, technically half of 2017 was after June, which is like the 6th month of the year, and then, there's 12 months. But still, tomatoes, who cares? It's already the half of the year. And with that, a lot of movies have come out already. A lot of great ones, a lot of really garbage ones. But in this video, this is my top 10 movies of 2017 so far.
I'ma wait till the beat go in.
Now keep in mind, this list can totally change by the end of the year because a lot of more movies are going to be coming out. Or who knows, it might stay exactly the same if all the other movies are ass. Who knows? And also keep in mind, I have not seen every single movie that has come out this year. That is like impossible. So keep that in mind once the list is over, and if you're curious if I've seen a movie or not that hasn't made the list, let me know in the comment section below and I will let you know. So, let's get this list going. At number 10, we got Dunkirk. I don't want anyone thinking that I hated the movie off of my review because I did say in it, it was still a good movie. It just wasn't as good as I was hoping it would be. Or at least, it wasn't as good as it could have been. But Dunkirk definitely has a lot going for it with really immersing you in the events that are taking place. That's what Christopher Nolan does so well. He makes all the events really come to life. What was lacking in character development, he more than made up with in the visual department. It just wasn't enough for me personally to really like it, you know what I'm saying? So Dunkirk did just come out. If you do want to check it out, you honestly should. It really is a good time. It's just not something I would see myself watching over and over, you know what I mean? At least not like his other movies. But at number 10, it's Dunkirk. At number 9, we got Get Out. Get Out is probably one of the most surprising movies of the year for me, simply because I just didn't know what to expect. Jordan Peele was directing it. Who knew if it was going to be funny or if it was just going to be some kind of parody? But the trailers made it look intriguing, and coincidentally, the movie ended up being really intriguing. There was a lot of cool stuff going on in here. It wasn't necessarily a horror film as much as it wants you to believe it is. It's more of a thriller, at least for me. But it's got some great jokes, some great scares in between. The writing is really smart. It ended up being a really solid movie, one that I was not expecting was going to be as good as it was. At number 8, it's John Wick, Chapter 2. The first John Wick was also super surprising because of all the action. Keanu Reeves came back with a vengeance. And in Chapter 2, they just raised the stakes. The kills are awesome. The action in general is awesome. Keanu Reeves once again proves that he is a badass to the core. His stunts are insane in here. The man is super devoted into his craft and what he does on screen, and you can honestly tell by watching this movie. I didn't think that the sequel was going to be better than the first one, but it actually was. It was super entertaining. It was a lot of fun to watch. If you haven't seen either of the John Wick movies yet and you're a fan of action movies, you really should check them out. They're really crazy. At number 7, we got probably the most underrated movie of the year, at least in my opinion. It's Ghost in the Shell. Now, yeah, not many people really like this movie, but I, for one, actually did. The visuals were great. Scarlett Johansson does a great job as Major, and the thing about this movie is that it is such a faithful adaptation to the original anime. And the original anime, in my opinion, is one of the greatest animes of all time. This movie does such a great job of adapting its source material and really making some of the things fresh and interesting. And again, with the visuals that it has and the performances, it really does work together. The writing isn't exactly the same as the original anime. Some things were changed, some villains, some plot points, all that kind of good stuff, but it doesn't hinder the film in any way. So for me, Ghost in the Shell was extremely enjoyable. Not many people actually did see it, and again, those who did, it was pretty divided. Some people did like it, some people didn't. For me, I really did like it, and if you haven't seen it yet, I would highly suggest checking it out. At number 6, it is SpiderMan Homecoming. That was my best web thing that I could do. I don't have webs, but now I'm going to say this right out the gate. No, I don't think Spider-Man Homecoming is the best Spider-Man movie ever made. However, it is the best Spider-Man that we've ever seen on the big screen in terms of the character. Tom Holland is easily the best Peter Parker / Spider-Man, and the film does such a great job at portraying the character faithfully to who we come to love in the comics. And the movie was just a lot of fun. Some really cool action scenes, some nice writing, some great performances. But the thing for me is, it was just a really fun movie. For me, I personally consider the first 2 Spider-Man movies from Sam Raimi to be better overall as films, only because there was just more stakes. For me, there was more pressure. There was a more grittier tone in those movies that I would have liked to have seen here, because the film had opportunities to go that route, they just didn't. They kind of played it safe in Homecoming, which is fine, but for me, the darker tones of the Raimi movies kind of won me over a little bit more than in Homecoming. But it's definitely not a bad movie by any means. Like I said, it's top 3 Spider-Man movies for sure. Just under Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2. Here we are, top 5, and at number 5, it is Split. There was a point in time where M. Night Shyamalan was being regarded as the next Steven Spielberg. He was that good early in his career. Then he sort of fell off with releasing garbage like The Last Airbender and After Earth. But once that shitfest was done, he came back with a pretty solid The Visit, and now he once again brings it up a notch with Split. Split was intriguing, Split was gripping, and the best thing about it was James McAvoy's performance. If it wasn't for him, this movie wouldn't have nearly been as good as it was because he had to play multiple characters. He had to play a character with a multiple personality disorder, and with that, he pulls it off so well. This is easily the best performance by a male actor that I have seen this year, and if he doesn't even get nominated, I will lose my mind. James McAvoy was phenomenal in here. The movie overall had some really tense, really gripping scenes. Some things were unsettling, some things were actually pretty funny. If for whatever reason you haven't seen Split yet, check it out, unless you don't want to be unsettled a little bit. Then you shouldn't be watching it. At number 4, it's Wonder Woman. DC needed something to get them back on their feet. Man of Steel was okay. Batman v Superman was a huge disappointment, and Suicide Squad, at least the extended cut of Suicide Squad, was fine. But they just haven't had a movie that really stands out, that really puts them above and beyond. That was before Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman finally fixed everything DC was doing wrong. They had some really great writing in here. The action scenes were great. Gal Gadot is terrific as Wonder Woman, not to mention she's just a dime. But it really all comes together to bring a very entertaining superhero movie that we just haven't seen from DC before. And thank God too. I was wondering when DC was gonna come out with some fire, and this is fire. Wonder Woman, at least for me, is definitely the best superhero movie we've gotten in 2017 so far. All we have to do now is wait for Thor Ragnarok and Justice League, and we'll see if it stays that way. Actually, I take that back. There is one more superhero movie better than Wonder Woman. At number 3, it's Logan. Logan honestly makes a terrific end to what we have come to love out of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. He's the only X-Men to have gotten 3 different movies just about himself. He's without question the favorite of the X-Men movies, and he has just been such a great guy to watch in terms of pulling off this character. And what really is great about Logan is just the grit, it's the dark tone, it is that everything has gone to shit in this movie in particular, and Logan's just trying to deal with all of it. He's old, he's been through it all, and he's just tired. What I really appreciate about Logan is that it just takes everything to the next level. The violence is a lot more gruesome. The language is a lot more inappropriate. It makes a really gritty superhero movie, one of the more gritty ones that we've ever seen. But I think that's very appropriate for a character like Wolverine. And the cinematography, the writing, and the performances all come together to make what I believe was an excellent send-off to who has been an awesome character. Wolverine, you will be missed. So now we're at the top 2, and this was super hard for me. Honestly, I've been switching these two back and forth in my head because I just love both of them so much. Of course, I had to come up with an order for this video, but honestly, if you switch these two around, I would totally be okay with it because again, I love both of these. But for the sake of this video, I got the order. And at number 2, it's Baby Driver. Edgar Wright handles movies with such class and finesse. He's got such a style to him that you can't help but appreciate. And in Baby Driver, it's on at full blast from beginning to end. You're just hooked. Or at least I was. Seriously, the driving scenes were sick. The writing was really good. There were twists and turns that I wasn't expecting in the performances. Ansel Elgort did awesome. Jamie Foxx, Kevin Spacey, you name it. Everyone did great here. It was one of the most entertaining movies that I have seen in recent memory. It was just such a blast. It has such a fun tone to it, but it can go down and dirty when it has to. Plus the music, the score in this movie is A1. I love the song choices here. Baby Driver is not only another one of the biggest surprises of the year for me, it was also just a blast. And at number 1, my top dog, the MVP for 2017 so far. If you've seen any of my videos lately, then you'll probably know what it is. But if you haven't, it's War for the Planet of the Apes. War for the Planet of the Apes is such a well-rounded ending to what has been a well-rounded trilogy. It takes everything that was great about the first 2 movies and kind of blends them together, in a sense. The CGI is honestly mind-boggling. It is so immersive, it just feels so real. And the movie does such a great job of using different elements to keep you hooked throughout the entire runtime. Again, there were twists and turns here I was not expecting. There were emotional hits that really hit me. Some people did not like this movie as much as the first 2, but for me, I feel like each and every one of these movies just gets better than the last. First one was good, second one was great, this one is awesome. War for the Planet of the Apes was everything I was hoping it was going to be. It had everything that I was looking for and expecting in this film. It is quite essentially a masterpiece, at least for me. If you haven't seen it yet, if you haven't seen any of the movies yet, I highly suggest checking them out in order so you can really enjoy this film for what it is. So guys, that takes care of it. That is my top 10 movies of 2017 so far. Of course, this list can change entirely by the end of the year, but we'll just see how that goes. Until then, this is YGB7, and I will see you guys in the next video.